Good evening. Welcome to CSBIS Academy Current Affairs Bulletin. Let us see today's current affairs. There's a treaty between India and Pakistan with respect to Indus water. Now, the treaty completed 60 years. Indus water treaty have completed 60 years. The treaty was signed in the year 1960 and the treaty was mediated by World Bank. Indus Water Treaty, very important. And in Indus Water Treaty, ICJ, Indus Chenab Jhelum goes to Pakistan. Satluj Bias Ravi comes to India. So this is Indus Water Treaty. Next important news. There are certain agreements called foundational agreements between India and US. Certain agreements called foundation agreements between India and US. In that, Lemova, Comcasa, etc. One such agreement which is not yet signed between India and US is BECA. One such agreement which is not yet finalized between India and US is BECA, Basic Exchange and Cooperation Agreement. Now, uh, futuristically speaking, in October, in the month of October next month, 2+2 dialogue between India and US. India External Affairs Minister, Indian Defense Minister are going to have a dialogue with the counterparts of the US. And this 2+2 dialogue is going to be held in October. And they are going to discuss about BECA. Most probably, very soon, BECA will be finalized. Already finalized agreements between India and US are LEMOA, LEMOA, Logistic Exchange Memorandum of Agreement, COMCASA, Communication Compatibility and Security Agreement, GSMOA, GSOMIA, General Security of Military Information Agreement. All these three were signed except BECA, and very soon we can expect BECA will also be completed. Next important news. Rajya Sabha. You all know that parliamentary session started a week back. Rajya Sabha passes amendment to Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. You all know that in 2016, to minimize non-performing assets issue, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code was established and the parliament passed IBC and Insolvency Bankruptcy Board of India was established, all these things. Now there was an amendment for that with respect to companies which are not paying money, that bank loans during COVID-19. So temporary, to adjust for temporary moratorium, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code was amended. You all know that government gave permission for temporary moratorium during COVID crisis as companies cannot repay the loan as they don't have much business during the COVID time. Next important news. Supreme Court as High Court to form special benches to decide criminal cases. With respect to MPs, MLAs criminal cases, High Court should have special benches, Supreme Court as the High Courts, immediately to establish special cases, special benches, and to adjudicate the issues with respect to uh, legislators, MLAs, MPs to do it very fast. Next important news is Global Smart City Index 2020. Global Smart City Index 2020. Recently, Institute for Management Development. Recently, Institute for Management Development, in collaboration with Singapore University for Technology and Design, have given a global smart city index. In that, unfortunately, in global smart city index 2020, if you compare with 2019, the rankings of Hyderabad, Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore have almost hit, they have come down. For example, in global smart city index 2019, if the ranking of Hyderabad is 67, in 2020 it is 85. The rankings of Hyderabad, Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore have hit in the global smart city index. Next important news. India Pakistan foreign ministers, they might attend SARC virtual meet which is going to be held on September 24th. It is not full summit, it is only foreign minister summit. Next important news. Uh, 8 Indian beaches, 8 Indian beaches are recommended for Blue Flag International Eco Label. See, there is a blue flag certification for environmental friendly beaches, clean beaches. So, what is a blue flag beach is very important. It's a blue flag certification is it is like a cleanliness in the beaches, neatness in the beaches. Environmental Ministry announced India's own eco label. Our environmental ministry announced our own eco label. Beams. The name is Beams. BEAMS. Beach Environment and Aesthetics Management Services. Beams means BEAMS. Beach Environment Aesthetic Management Services. It is under ICZM project, Integrated Coastal Zone Management Project. There are 8 beaches that were recommended under BEAMS program. 8 beaches in India. For prelims, kindly know about beaches. Prelims, kindly know about beaches. Shivrajpur Beach in Gujarat, Gogla Beach in Damandayu, Kasarkod Beach in Karnataka, Padubidri Beach in Karnataka, Kappad Beach in Kerala, Rishikonda in Andhra Pradesh, Golden in Orissa, and Radhanagar in Andaman Nicobar Islands. Kindly read about this and blue flag certification and also beams. What is beams? It is our own eco label in our beaches. Our own ministry, environment ministry made our own eco label. Beams means beach environment and aesthetic management services. That's called beach. Next important news: Prime Minister Modi ji he laid foundations stones for 9 highway projects worth 14,000 crore rupees in Bihar. 14,000 crore rupees in Bihar through video conferencing. Modi will also inaugurate optical fiber internet services in Bihar for various villages in Bihar. Now, government is particularly focusing on Bihar, particularly infrastructure and connectivity. Last week, we have seen government is more and more focused on Madhya Pradesh programs and schemes. This week, continuously we are observing the programs in Bihar. So, government is focusing on these areas. Next important news: Rajya Sabha passed Amendment to Epidemic Diseases Bill 2020. Epidemic Diseases Amendment Bill 2020. We have an act called Epidemic Diseases Act 1897, British Act. The act was considered as Colonial Act. Now, you all know that the act have seen 123 years, 123 years of age. That is Epidemic Diseases Act. After coronavirus, government have invoked this act again. And now this act was amended to include protection to healthcare service personnel. To include protection to healthcare service personnel who are working against epidemic diseases. So this is very important. This is very important. Harming or hurting or attacking healthcare personnel during any epidemic disease, it is a cognizable non-bailable offense. You have seen 3 months back in Gandhi Hospital, patients, relatives, and others attacked doctors. So, under Epidemic Diseases Act, to protect healthcare service personnel, harming, injuring, or causing danger to life is a cognizable and a non-bailable offense. Cognizable and a non-bailable offense. The provisions, the punishment can be up to imprisonment of 3 years, 3 months to 5 years. 3 months to 5 years, and fine will be up to 50,000 to 2 lakh rupees. 50,000 to 2 lakh rupees. And you should not harass healthcare workers. You should not harm healthcare workers. Harass or harm healthcare workers. This is called act of violence. Act of violence. Next important news is Quad member countries. They might meet in Tokyo in October. Quad means Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, Japan, America, Australia, and India. This was formed to indirectly to contain China in the Indo-Pacific region. Indo-Pacific region. This is important. Just remember and kindly see the locations of LOC and South China Sea. Kindly see the location of LOC and South China Sea. Next important news: determined efforts must be made to make Jammu Kashmir a hub of knowledge, innovation, learning with the help of new education policy said by President of India. President of India said we should help the Jammu Kashmir to become a hub of knowledge, innovation, learning by implementing national education policy in letter and spirit. He said this while addressing the video conference on implementation of national education policy in Jammu Kashmir. Particularly, Jammu Kashmir needs skill development. Few years back, government launched a program called Project Himayat for skill development in the Kashmiri youth. So you know that development is a one-stop solution for all the problems in Kashmir. So better education, better skill development always helps for development. Next important news. Government is also working on labor laws. There are around 44 labor laws in the country. Now they are compiling them into four labor codes. Four labor codes, CODS codes. The government introduced three crucial labor codes, including Code on Industrial Relations, Code on Social Security, Code on Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions in Lok Sabha. In Lok Sabha. And this is very important. Labor code is very important. Already we have Social Security Code, Labor Social Security Code. So various labor laws are being now made into four codes, four labor codes. This is very important. Kindly remember, uh, in India we are going to have labor codes. In India Nepal relations, one positive note here, India have handed over two modern trains to Nepal. India have handed over two modern trains to Nepal, and they will run between Jayanagar in Bihar to and Kurta in Danusha district. Jayanagar in Bihar and Kurta in Danusha district. This is very important. The Konkan Railway delivered two modern diesel electric multiple unit trains to Nepal Railways. Nepal Railways, very important in India Nepal relations. Next important news, India provides $250 million worth financial assistance to Maldives. India Maldives relations are seeing a new height. Recently, we had a air bubble agreement with Maldives, and India is giving aid to Maldives. India is now providing $250 million worth financial assistance as budgetary support to Maldives to help the Maldives to tackle economic hardship that followed the coronavirus. And next important news, India's first Coast Guard Academy. You all know Coast Guards. Coast Guards are the naval ships. They work in the coastal areas. They protect safety in the coastal areas. India's first Coast Guard Academy is going to come up at Mangaluru, going to come at Mangaluru. Around 158 acres Karnataka Industrial Area Development Board land was taken over to set up India's first Coast Guard Academy. India's first Coast Guard Academy. India's Coast Guard operates in complex environment at sea and in the air. It operates variety of ships, crafts, and aircrafts. And good Coast Guard training is very important because you all know in 2008 Mumbai terror attacks. In 2008 Mumbai terror attacks, Coast Guard, protection of Coast Guard, and intelligence surveillance in the Coast Guard and proper training is very very important. What has happened during that time? Ministry of Home Affairs calls for high level meeting to discuss key issues relating to Assam. There are three key issues. One is NRC, second is demand for granting ST status to six communities in Assam, and third is implementation of Assam Accord, vital clauses in Assam Accord. So all the three things they are going to discuss. Minister of Home Affairs is ready to do that. Having no, there are claims that some communities are asking to have ST status in Assam. Next important news: NASA releases photos of Jupiter Jupiter. And you should also know there are two things about this NASA. One is Jupiter has a moon called Europa. Jupiter has a moon called Europa. Just remember this. And one more news, there's a telescope of NASA called Hubble telescope. Now this Hubble telescope is going to retire, and NASA is going to have a new telescope called James Webb. Hubble telescope is going to retire, and recently Hubble telescope have given some pictures of Jupiter. Yes, pictures of Jupiter. Next important news. You all know regularly we are getting so much of data about road accidents. Data about road accidents. India has one of the highest number of road accidents, and the government recently revealed that the more number of road accidents are because of overspeeding. More number of road accidents are because of overspeeding. This is the important thing. More number because of overspeeding. Okay, we have more number of road accidents because of over speeding. So if you can control speed, we can reduce that. Lok Sabha passes taxation bill to provide relief to taxpayers. The taxation bill was passed, and the ordinance was already made in March. This bill is aiming to exempt certain contributions made to PM CARES fund. PM Cares Fund. This is important. So if you contribute money to PM Cares Fund, there is an exemption from income tax. To the 10 taxation bill was passed in the Lok Sabha yesterday. Spice Plus web form. SPICE, Spice Plus Web Form, comes under Ministry of Corporate Affairs. What is this SPICE? Simplified Proforma for Incorporating Company, Electronic Plus Web Form. Nothing but easy single window clearance for multiple services for incorporating a company. You may get a direct question. What is SPICE Plus Web Form? SPICE, for incorporating a company, multiple services will be allowed, will be given in a single web form. That is called Spice Plus, comes under Ministry of Corporate Affairs basically. And Spice Plus would offer 10 services by three ministries: Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Ministry of Labor, and Ministry of Finance. Very important. And International Coastal Cleanup Day is yesterday, September 19th. International Coastal Cleanup Day is yesterday, September 19th. And one more important news: Ministry of MSME, Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises, new guidelines to support artisans, including pottery and beekeeping activity. Artisans, including pottery and beekeeping activity. Just remember this. And Rajya Sabha passes bills for homeopathy and Indian medicine. Rajya Sabha passed two bills to replace ordinances to establish a Central Council for Homeopathy and Indian Medicine Central Council. So, one Homeopathy Central Council, one Indian Medicine Central Council is being established through new laws. And next important news is Gujarat announces, the government of Gujarat announces new subsidy scheme for e-vehicles. So e-vehicles is getting more support now, and you may expect a mains question also: electronic vehicles. And electronic vehicles are eco-friendly compared to other vehicles, because we burn fossil fuels and other fuels and even oil and other things, various things in our to our environment. One such major contribution is through vehicles. So e-vehicles is one thing that government is encouraging, and Gujarat government is supporting a new through a new scheme to promote e-vehicles. This is important. E-vehicles, you have to read it 2-3 times. And Vaibhav, Vaishvik Bharatiya Vaignanik Summit 2020. The Prime Minister is going to inaugurate this on October 2nd. On October 2nd. This is about science and technology organizations, R&D culture, to promote R&D culture and problem solving approach. Vaibhav Summit is about S&T academic organizations. They all come together in research, they all come together in development of new problem solving approaches to provide a roadmap for new knowledge for innovations. To provide a roadmap for new knowledge for innovations. This is called Vaibhav. Next important topic, last topic for today. Two agricultural bills in Rajya Sabha were introduced, and there was wide debate that is going on the bills, and they were passed. They are going to be, it seems that they're going to be passed, and government is asking to send, government is promoting them, and whereas opposition parties are against them and asking them to send to select a committee. And there was so much of issues about this. Even Telangana CM, it seems, was quite critical about these bills. One is Farmers and Produce Trade and Commerce Bill 2020. The second is Farmers Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Service Bill 2020. So, farmers' unions have raised apprehensions that the bill might discontinue in future the government support to farming system like MSP, minimum support price, etc. Whereas government is saying that this bill is historic, these bills are historic, and they will change the fate of the farmers. But opposition parties are saying that these bills are not uh, helpful for the farmers. In fact, they are harmful for the farmers. And before passing these bills, we should send them to select committee. This is the arguments of opposition parties. So there are two important bills that were in news from last 2-3 days. One is Farmers and Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill 2020, and second is Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Service Bill 2020. These two are in news which you need to focus on. These are all the important news for today. Tomorrow evening we'll meet with current affairs. Thank you.